that you should read any series
in release order.
Yeah. Because, the
Because
writer...
they were never...
they thought of it.
Yeah, that's the way that they thought of it. Each book was released under the impression that you had read the previous books.
Yeah, because especially The Magician's Nephew has so much from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in it.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about The Magician's Nephew is that it assumes a knowledge of Narnia. I read it 6th, and I remember people always argue about that, whether or not...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that after Wardrobe?
Yeah, it was the 6th one that was written.
I didn't know that.
Out of the 7, it was the 6th one that was written, but it takes place chronologically first. But it literally, the first paragraph of the book mentions Narnia as if you have a knowledge of Narnia. So, like, he clearly intended you to read that one after, at least after having read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Right. I do think that, and I might get hate for this, I do think that the creation of the lamppost is kind of dumb. Where it's like he just put a metal rod in the ground and then that eventually became the lamppost, and from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I don't know, that just has always, it's just a little too on the nose.
I guess, but what I really do like is that the tree turns into the wardrobe. That's my favorite thing. So that they chop down the tree and that eventually becomes the wardrobe.
Yeah, that's I don't know, maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I do think it's a little... something that I hate in fantasy is the over-explanation and over, like...
Trying to connect to every
yeah, or it's like, this is why this is that. Like not leaving anything to the, like, imagination or, like, the mystery or whatever. Which is, like, really funny because I feel like most audiences want that information, like, especially people who are, like, lore fiends, and they're like...
Yeah, I would say, like, a ton of that would be considered pandering, because people do love that stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, who is Mr. Thomas's parents? Does it matter?
Right.
You know?
How was he born?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's kind of frustrating, too, when it's like you could have taken the time to explore further lore instead of looping back around to explain existing lore.
Yeah,
that is kind of frustrating to me. As an adult, it is. When I was a kid and I read that, and it was like, oh, that's so cool. That's where the lamppost came from. Like, as a kid, I really liked it. So maybe that's, I mean, the books are written for children, but...
The lamppost is, like, it's iconic, but it's not important,
No,
like, so
but
you're saying you would like the lamppost if you just never knew how it got there?
I think it's I just think it's pandering. I think it's, like,
But, like, would it be fine without knowing how it got there? The lamppost?
Like, yeah, I would, I don't think the lamppost is that...
different about a random lamppost?
Huh?
Would you be completely indifferent about the random
lamppost? I just, like, leaving it as just, like, an iconic piece of, like, Narnia iconography. I'd be totally fine with the lamppost, but I just think it's just a little bit, like, pandery to have a whole backstory for why it's there.
It's just that the witch threw it at him, and then that was it, right? Just grew?
Well,
the
it
witch
was
threw
like
it
a
at
piece
Aslan while he was singing, and then it just bounced right... It said, like, it hit him in between the eyes and bounced right off or something like that, and then it just grew. That's how I remember it.
You're probably right. It's been a long time since
I don't even know, like, what that means, though.
Like, I thought it was, like, a piece of metal from, like, the real world that was brought to Narnia or something. And
it is, but it was a lamppost originally.
Yeah.
Because the witch goes to the real world.
That's
right. She picks it up as a weapon, and then...
I also don't really care for Narnia characters entering the real world. I think it should be a one-way portal that only, like, real-world people can go between. But that's something I feel super strong about.
The people, like, in Prince Caspian, like when men go to Narnia, like, do you feel the same way about that?
I don't remember what happened.
It's like the main faction of bad guys, I believe, in Prince Caspian was, like, people that went from the real world to Narnia.
They are? I thought they were just Narnia people.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I read all of those books once, with the exception of The Magician's Nephew, which I read, I think, 2 or 3 times, but it's been a very long time since I read those books.
Yeah, and my mom and I would read those books when I was really young, like before I went to bed.
They're very short.
They are. I actually was at Savers and I found the silver chair. And I was like, Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
I could reread the whole thing in like an afternoon.
I recently downloaded the it's technically an audiobook, but they call it radio theater, where it's more like it has a cast and a like.
Yeah.
It was, I think, Focus on the Family did it.
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded all of those, all 7 of them, and the longest one is like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Which is crazy short for a book.
Right.
Like, that means you could pretty much adapt the entire book word for word into a movie, and it would fit. Like, which is kind of crazy.
I remember the last thing, because I don't know if your parents did this. My parents used to use plugged in Focus on the Family all the time to like screen like movies and video games if it was appropriate for me.
My family would do that, and they would also use Common Sense Media,
Yeah.
which is another big one that does the same thing.
And I'll always, I mean, as much as they gate kept me from, Focus on the Family gate kept me from experiencing awesome stuff, I always have my respect for giving a lighthearted review for Halo 3 and saying that even though it has blood, it's bright blue alien blood, so it's not that bad, which is really funny to me. That's the only reason I was able to play that game.
But there's regular blood in that game too.
The review does not mention that.
I wish this guy would get the heck away from me. Get the heck away, guy.
Reminds me of when, at the end of Ocarina of Time, when you kill Ganondorf, he like vomits up red blood originally, and then they like, moms hated that, so they changed it to green.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that creepy thing. I think it's in Majora's Mask. It's at like the bottom of the cat. I forget exactly where it is, but it's like the big white flesh bag thing. He's got like a bunch of hands. I think it's Majora's Mask.
Oh, it's called the Dead Hand. It's in Ocarina of Time.
See, I knew I was a fake fan.
Well, I feel like it's a safe bet to guess the creepiest things are in Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Anthony. The other day when Game Informer was officially shut down. Did you see that? The Game Informer was officially shut down.
I wonder what's gonna happen because I had a subscription to Game Informer.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
still
still
do.
They're gonna
have
keep
one?
charging
Did you read them?
No.
I
It just
used to
a
get
holdover from when I was like 12 years old.
I used to have a subscription to Game Informer because it was like sometimes you get a free one with like you buy a game at GameStop, you get like
Yeah.
a free one, and it was one of those things where it just like never ended. Like got it for years for free.
Me too.
And we used to, and I remember like the first time my brothers and I saw a 10 out of 10 in Game Informer, we were like, "Holy crap, a 10 out of 10!"
Was it for Arkham City?
It was for Arkham City.
That was me too.
And it was like, holy crap, like 10 out, this game must be so good. And it is. It's a great game. I love Arkham City now. It's one of my favorite games. But then we used to see like a 10 out of 10 like every couple weeks. They would they were ready to give it. And then we realized that they like never gave anything lower than like a 7. And so
Because
the
if
other
they
day,
didn't, then they wouldn't get the games.
right. The other day I saw when I saw that they had gone, that they were gone, I decided to look up the list of all of the 10 out of 10 games, and the first one on the list was Mass Effect 3. And I thought it was so funny because we were just talking about that
Doesn't
game.
surprise me.
That's really fun. I'm looking at the list right now. They have Mass Effect 3, but not 2, which everyone prefers to Mass Effect 3.
Mass
Okay,
Effect 2 is
cool.
probably my favorite one. I think Mass Effect 3 is my favorite one gameplay-wise, though.
This is a
I just think it's funny because it's like 10 out of 10 games that have no room
No
for improvement.
flaws.
And it's like very famously flawed game.
This is a pretty crazy list. Like some of these, I'm like, yeah, like okay, like this is like a status quo kind of thing. Like Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. That game is not.
I think Legend of
10 out of
Zelda
10?
Ocarina
Yeah.
of Time is a 10 out of 10 on there as well.
It isn't actually.
Really?
Ocarina of
Yeah.
Time?
I thought Ocarina of Time was a 10 out of 10 in Game Informer.
Wind Waker is, which I feel like I'd agree with that. Metal Gear Solid 2.
You'd say Wind Waker's a 10 out of 10 with all that fucking ocean you gotta go through?
Hey,
Hell
listen,
no.
they made the sale faster in the new one.
That's true. I did replay the remake. And I
Overwatch
like it
has a
better.
10 out of 10, which is hilarious to me.
Overwatch.
What do you call it?
How do I attack?
Square.
This might be controversial, but they gave Ratchet & Clank 3 a 10 out of 10, and I completely agree. I love that game. That's one of my
What'd they give
favorite games of all-
Ukulele?
They probably gave it like a 4.
I think I'd be hard pressed to find a game that I think is absolutely perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Time Splitters?
Time Splitters is probably.
And if not, how could it improve?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think it actually. I think Time Splitter. Only thing with Time Splitters is that I wish it was on, or I wish I could have like peripherals to aim more accurately, because I don't like aiming FPSs with first-person controls with a controller. But other than that, I think I'd say Time Splitters for me is pretty close to perfect. Although people love to jerk off Time Splitters 2 instead of Future Perfect, because I don't know. I don't exactly know why. I think the story or the arcade's better, but I just disagree.
You gotta wait for him to stand up.
No, I am better at hitting than you.
I
That's
think,
why I can hit him while he's not standing up.
I think Josh would agree with me on this, but I would say Outer Wilds is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Anthony, I can't believe it. You hate Outer Wilds.
He doesn't hate it. He just hasn't.
Have you played it again?
Since Sunday, no.
How do I make him stand
I
up?
just don't feel strongly one way or the other
You
about
gotta
it.
get close to him.
You can't get close to him. He's throwing shit at me.
Well, the projectiles are because you're far away.
I don't know if I said this on Hat Kraken, but I've definitely like vocalized this before.
Oh, do I have to kill those things to make him stand up?
Holy crap!
No, maybe.
I definitely think that people tend to
Aw,
overrate
man.
things, especially things they like.
Yeah.
See, people tell you what?
Overrate things, especially things they like.
Yeah.
I think very few things are, and it's funny because well, it's hilarious because I said this at my job where I work in a movie theater, and
At my job, you know, like what grown-ups have.
four of my coworkers, well, all four staying there, disagreed with me strongly, and they were like, "Well, what's like an example of a movie that's overrated?" And I was like recent memory, like that Puss in Boots movie, like it was like pretty good, but like I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. They're like, "What do you mean? That movie was so good." I'm like,
you talking
I'm
about?
yeah, what are you talking about? I was like, "Yeah, it's good. Like it's." Yeah, I got a banana in my. Yeah, I liked that movie a lot, but I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I'd give it like a 7 or 8.
Oh, really? How could it improve?
And they got even angrier at me, for saying 7. Cause like I feel like people are like they will rank things as like 1, 10, 9, or 8, and anything below an 8 is just as bad as a 1. You know, like I feel like people are so offended by things getting lower than an 8.
Which is interesting because on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 would be average. So if you wanted to call a movie average, you'd give it a 5. But that seems like you said, the same thing as like a 1 or a 0.
Yeah, and I like a lot of things that are like a 6 or a 5. Like, you know, there's enjoyment that can be had with movies that are like even like a 2 or a 3. You know. Do you guys like the 5-star system or the 10 out of 10 system more?
I like the 3-star system of Ratatouille.
Actually, Ratatouille has a 5-star system.
I know. They changed it for American audiences, but they're supposed to be 3.
I prefer the 10-star system, or 10 out of 10, just because.
It's more accurate.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, unless you're giving half stars, then
but
5s are fine.
still, that's you have 20 choices versus 10.
I'm saying, if you're giving half stars,
Yeah.
then I would on 5s, but whole stars on 10s. That's the same thing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I said the same thing with John too, because when he initially told me this, I was like, no, they're the same fucking thing if you do half stars.
Right.
I think the worst system is out of 100. I think that it is
Like
way
a percentage
worse.
grading.
Huh?
Basically, you're giving it like a percentage.
No, just like where it's like 88, 85, 86. Because like that's just way too like. If you ask somebody that gets something an 86, it's like 1 out of 87, 1 out of 85. You know what I mean? I feel like most people can't.
So you also hate like decimal points out of 10, like an 8.6 out of 10?
Like when Dave Portnoy says, this pizza is 8.9.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
why?
like that. I think it should be increments of 0.5.
I think it's a little arbitrary.
Yeah, I
It's like, oh,
agree.
this was 8.4, but that pizza was 8.6. It's like, oh yeah,
Just
what
to
was the-
see- yeah.
what was the 2% difference? There?
Right.
He overrates Massachusetts pizza, by the way.
No,
I hate
no, he
Massachusetts
doesn't.
pizza.
You hate everything about everything that is food and good and delicious.
That's not true. We have great seafood here.
No, we don't. No one does.
Nobody.
It's impossible to have good seafood.
I got seafood in the middle of friggin' Oregon once, and they had a chicken nugget roll. It's really funny, actually. I almost ordered out of curiosity, but the thought of like seaweed rice chicken nugget and cream cheese was not that appetizing. I guess, yeah, I don't know.
It's not too late to get health, Josh.
I have 0. Oh.
I feel like you're supposed to kill
I
his little
see.
minions.
The Ocarina of Time thing that I was remembering was they took a poll, and after they got 200,000 votes, and Game Informer did, and their readers voted Ocarina of Time the best game ever.
Yeah, Ocarina
The greatest
of Time
game of
is
all time.
Often regarded up there as like one of the best games ever.
It's awesome. It's also one of the most overrated games of all time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm one of the people that are super nostalgic about it, but I will admit that it's way overrated.
Similar vein of what's it called? Deus Ex, original Deus Ex.
Deus Ex Machina.
I don't think it's overrated. It's just that that's what's widely regarded as some of the greatest games of all time, like Deus Ex, Fallout New Vegas. What else?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, yep, original Dark Souls.
So you can pause and use potions to heal.
Ooh,
I think you're supposed to kill his minions and then
You are.
attack him.
I
Yeah.
was trying to.
that's
which
what
is
we've been
hard.
doing.
We are what we are.
John, why don't you try?
Okay,
Play the game.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'm gonna beat him right here.
Do it.
He's always saying that because he can see Elijah dominating. So he's not going to have
I'm
to
just
fight.
not scared.
I can see them spawning.
Immersion broken.
Shadow of the Colossus. That's another, like considered the best game of all time.
Never played that.
I couldn't get into Shadow of the Colossus.
My dad played that one time. He just kept hitting things with his sword and didn't know how to play it, and then he quit.
That's funny.
Yeah,
You know what else my dad used to do in terms of video games? Sometimes
the controller.
me and my brother and my dad would play a season of Madden, and what we would do is
make a character the flattest you could and call him Flat Stanley.
no, we would not do that. But that's kind of a
I
cool
would make him
idea.
as fat as
Now I
you
wish
could.
that we did that because my story is not as funny as that. No, but what we do is we play a season of Madden. We each pick a team, then we do like a fantasy draft. So all the teams were like basically randomized, and then we would like simulate all the games and just like do like the coach stuff. Like we propose trades to other teams or whatever, and
And
pick
to
up
each
free
other.
agents and. But sometimes we would actually play the individual games as well. And when we played the individual games, my dad was like very intent
Tears.
on going 16-0 with no losses every time. And he was really good at those games. So he would win almost every game, but then it would be like week 14 and he will have gone 13-0 so far.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be playing and he'd be losing, and it would get to the point where it's like, you know, the fourth quarter and he's down by a couple touchdowns and they just like intercept him, and so it's clear that there's no way for him to win. And he would get so frustrated, he'd walk up to the system and just restart it. And then go and
not doing any damage. Sorry.
play the game again and win it. Which is, I mean,
Cheating.
fine if you want to do it on your own, but don't do it in a season where you're playing with other people.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was so frustrating.
much you
Every
laughed.
time he would do it, me and my brother would get so mad, but we couldn't say anything to him because he was already so pissed off
He
that
was
he just
Wild
lost
Wesley.
and had to restart it. Yeah, Wild Wesley. That's why we call him Wild Wesley.
Wild Wesley, my father, why'd you do that?
My father.
My father used to reset the PS2.
It was PlayStation 2.
Use a potion.
My father
Use a potion.
was a bit of a gamer.
How do I? Oh.
He played 007 Nightfire. Out of all the GameCube games we owned when we were kids, one of them was 007 Nightfire.
Me too.
And we weren't allowed to play that because that was Dad's game. So I still have never played that to this day.
Ocarina of Time gets ridiculous reviews, though. Game rankings gives it 98% positive. Metacritic gives it a 99.
Look up
And it-
game reviews for Outer Wilds. I swear I'm just not intelligent enough for that game.
But you haven't finished
5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 40 out of 40,
To be fair
5
to
out of
you,
5.
you haven't finished it.
Fair. This is fair too.
And, like everything hasn't come together yet.
But I was saying to Josh and John the other night, I was like, I'm still waiting for this earth-shattering, cum-inducing moment where I just love Outer Wilds and it blows my fucking marbles off.
Let's see. 85 out of 10 out of 100, 85 out of 100.
I'd say Ocarina of Time is
9
like
out of
Citizen
10.
Kane of video games. Very important, but super dumb.
9 out of 10.
See me now.
18 out of 20. What is an out of 20 rating system? That's so stupid. Just do 9 out of 10.
Is this Outer Wilds?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm actually
congrats,
surprised it's not higher.
I feel like every review for that game is at
The
at
lowest.
is
You know what's
9.
you know what's interesting is that the lowest one on here is from Game Informer.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it gives it a 7.75 out of 10.
Outer
they didn't
Wilds?
finish the game.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't finish. He's like me, didn't finish the game.
Yeah, she was Anthony.
Can you look up Echoes of the Eye? Because I'm curious if these are initial reactions, and then after the game came out and everyone was like, "This is the best game ever made," if they rank the DLC higher.
Also, people that played the DLC must have played.
Echoes
Base
of the
game.
Eye doesn't have its own Wikipedia page.
Just look up reviews, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just looking on Wikipedia because it just aggregates all the reviews for you.
Oh, you're using Wikipedia as a source?
That's aggregating.
You're so aggregating.
John just decided that he was going to play this over and over and over again because it's so easy.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I'm glad he did because he beat the boss.
No, he didn't.
Like, I like
That was me. I'm gonna change the name.
Yeah, I'm going to put the name in the corner so it says my name.
I
Right
think,
for one frame as he beats the boss. It's going to say my name.
You
I'll
can
be
insert
looking.
audio of you going, "Can I see it for a second?"
For one frame. There's no way to spit that out.
It's gonna speed it up.
Is he better second?
Can I see that first?
it's like
Takes
when,
it, beats the boss, and hands it back. In
That is
less than
exactly like when Peter can recite all 50 states.
Guys, you know Josh is going to start editing some shorts for us?
Nice.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow,
So if you see declining quality, don't point your finger at
Elijah.
me.
I think society would be like the Jetson Society if we could cite Wikipedia as a source. Like, we would just be so much more advanced as a society.
What?
Is their society really advanced, though, or is it just in the sky?
It's actually the Flintstones Society in the psychedelic trip of Fred Flintstone.
That's not the theory.
Fred Flintstone.
The theory is that they live in the
his
sky
wife.
and that everyone else lives on the ground. Like they take
Barney
place
is
concurrently.
fucking Fred Flintstone's wife.
He is fucking Fred Flintstone's wife.
No,
Barney!
no, I will not say Fred Flintstone's wife's name. It doesn't matter.
It's Wilton.
Wilton.
Wilton!
I'm trying to remember what.
It cuts to the inside of the Flintstones.
Wilton! What are you
Wilton?
doing?
I can't believe you put Barney on the roof.
Wilton! Where am I going?
Back to the elf.
Oh. Now you tell me.
Not that
I'm
way.
sorry, Wilton. I can't domestic violence you
What the
tonight.
fuck was that?
Rock Peter?
Rock Peter!
Rock Peter?
Well, Peter,
Rock me like a Peter cane!
I was thinking Roxanne.
I was too. That's what I did when I did Rock Peter, but
You go. That's not the right way.
Guide me like a
Okay.
compass.
Oh,
That
smart.
way. Go to the
Rock
molasses.
Tua.
Rock to
Actually, go right.
You don't have to spit on that thing.
You went full Hawk Tua. You never want to go full Hawk Tua.
Gordon Ramsay. That tomahawk was fine, so you put a Hawk 2 on it.
Oh my! Whoa. Okay, hold on.
By the way, that's an actual quote from Gordon Ramsay.
I showed him
Before you put a Hawk 2
the
on.
video.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Anthony, I wish you were just in the group chat so that I didn't have to like share these things with you and then have John say, "Oh, I already sent that to him."
No, it's
Wish
okay.
you could just see it when it goes in the group chat like everyone else.
It's okay, because you can tell me on Kraken and tell the others.
Yeah, but then he's already showed you everything.
I got the Witch King crystal. Why did she have that?
Is she a Witch King crystal guy?
Is there a cheat code to give me a lightsaber?
Well, your sting turns blue when you're horny, so just get some
true.
horny.
True.
Sting
That's
turns
the
blue
wrong
when he's
way.
horny.
Yeah.
Is that why he's part of the Blue Man group?
Sting's not part of the Blue Man group, but he
Sting-
does play Fade Rotha.
Sting is his own guy. He's
He is in the B-Man movie. That's what he's most.
Sting
well
is
known
his own thing. Sting's on.
for. Did I just say the B-Man movie?
You did say the B-Man
The
movie.
Bean movie.
The Bean movie.
I like the part in the
Wait,
B
no.
movie.
Sting is a band, isn't it?
Sting is a man.
Sting,
Sting
is,
is
a
a
guy.
man.
We are some funny guys.
We're some
just
fun
a-
guys, like the mushrooms. in
Oh,
this
like the
game.
mushrooms.
It's us. It's us. It's us. I just got exhausted.
Bloop.
exhausted because he swallowed an entire boiled egg.
What's all this green goo?
It's evil
Molasses.
matter from the movie.
I don't remember this in the book.
It's just
I don't
regular
remember this.
You didn't read the book.
I remember this
did.
green goo
You don't remember?
wall in
And
the
there was
book.
a wall with molasses.
Did you know that the book, The Hobbit, was like edited after The Lord of the Rings came out so that it fit better with the narrative
Yeah,
of The
because
Lord of the Rings?
the Gollum scene made no
yeah,
sense.
the Gollum scene didn't make any sense, so they changed the.
What was it like before?
He gives him the ring just for like solving a little game, and then he's like, "Okay, goodbye."
They dig up J.R. Tolkien.
I think they make
No,
him.
Tolkien edited it.
Yeah, Tolkien edited it. I think he basically just made Gollum a little bit more attached to the ring.
Yeah, he made him freak out after.
Yeah,
that.
he makes
Yeah.
he makes
Yeah,
him
he made
freaks
him,
out
like,
when he leaves.
he wins the game, but then he's like,
You tricked me.
he goes like pretending that he's gonna go get it, but then he's gonna kill him or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I probably read the book after that happened because that sounds familiar.
I think that's the only scene. That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, it was edited in like the
Post.
1970s or something.
no, it was edited very shortly after.
After what?
After what?
Like when Lord of the Rings came out.
When did Lord of the Rings come out?
I don't know. If you say the 70s, I'll say okay. But I
It
don't
might have
think
been the
came out in
60s. It might have been the 60s. Maybe even the 50s. I don't know. I don't know when Lord of the Rings came out.
How
I'm
did
pretty sure
Tolkien-
the Lord of the Rings is older than the 70s.
how did-
Probably.
How did Tolkien like the movies?
He loved them. He said,
He's like, I should have done that.
He was
Glad I thought of
he was dead.
he said, why didn't I cast Carl Urban?
He said, "Where's Sting?"
Have you ever listened to like the audio recordings of Tolkien? He sounds like a freak.
1954 is when it came out.
Stuff like this.
Yeah, I know. What kind of drugs when Gollum?
I didn't realize The Hobbit came out in 1937.
Yeah, it was a children's book for kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
I thought it was a children's book for adults.
Just
and then Lord of the
Bluey.
Rings came out in 1954.
Bluey's
Ha
not good.
ha ha! Hey hey hey!
What are those things you're killing? The
Skeevers.
boss we killed. The
Skeevers.
boss we killed was Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't remember that boss in the book.
And there was a boss named Hedgehog. You don't remember that, Blaine?
Like I remember very vividly the orc camp. Reading that in the book.
Orc camp?
Or the goblin. What the fuck?
The trolls?
The trolls. The troll
Orc
camp.
thigh.
Oh, the three of them?
Orc
Yeah.
thigh.
How
Orc
he has
thigh.
to sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to prove himself as a burglar.
So he burgles.
Gurgles.
He gurgles the burgles.
Going back to that barrel idea thing and how they changed that for the movie, I'm pretty sure in this game it is also his idea. Like he thinks of how to get them out and pack them into barrels and everything.
Well, it's like that in the movie and the book.
Yeah, but actually, you know what? You were talking about the respect thing, and I don't know if there's actually any exchange about that between
Yeah.
the dwarf and him.
I don't remember there being a white what's it
Elephant.
called? No, he's like the one-armed. He's got like a hook hand. The white.
Oh, the white like orc guy?
Yeah.
You know, he was. I'm pretty sure he was completely made up by Peter Jackson for the movie.
Same with Legolas.
That's so awesome.
Well, Legolas wasn't made up, but he was incorporated.
He's
yeah.
made up into the movie.
He was incorporated in the movie when he
His name
wasn't.
And that love triangle. Evangeline Lilly, is that her name?
Yeah.
She literally said, yeah, I'd love to do this, but I don't want to be in another love triangle. And then Peter Jackson's like, okay. And then afterwards he was like, okay, hold on, you're going to hate me. She literally tells the story. Because that, that character does not exist. There is no love triangle in The Hobbit, and
Mhm.
Peter Jackson added it.
Megasaur ass.
Yeah, she's butthurt.
Guys, you know what I found out I have recently?
Balls.
I have a syndrome. This is a real thing, by the way. Every once in a while, my ear will get really red. Will turn like red and like heat up.
Mine does that sometimes.
Yeah, just randomly. One of my ears turns red and gets really hot. And I never thought anything about it. Like whatever. Sometimes my ear turns red and gets hot.
Yep.
And then, so I was at work the other day and I randomly just Googled. I was like, why does my ear turn red and get warm? And it came up and described this thing called red ear syndrome. And I was like, oh. And it was describing exactly that, where your ear just randomly turns red and gets really hot and can sometimes be kind of painful.
And it's fatal.
And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting, because that's pretty much describing exactly what happens to me. So I looked more into it. That's it. That's the whole thing. Sometimes your ear turns red. It's called red ear syndrome. They have no idea what causes it. There's no way to stop it, and it really doesn't bother you. but they
I
just
was
put a
gonna
name
say,
on
I
it
wouldn't
called
even say
red
I'm,
ear
like, even
syndrome.
Inconvenience. I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah, like, oh, I have a hot ear
Hot
now.
ear time.
Yeah,
That's really funny.
yeah. Pretty interesting. But what was also interesting is that it said a lot of people who have that are prone to migraines, which I am very prone to migraines. So I was like, oh,
I am not.
interesting.
not.
I like
Thank
never
God.
get headaches ever.
I get a migraine like once a month, and it's the worst thing ever.
I also have never had a brain freeze.
Really?
Which
Yeah,
is
it's true.
so bullshit. You're fucking
That's
lying.
crazy.
And I
My
know-
dad doesn't get them either. My dad Wesley.
Really?
Yeah.
There's another. Guys, I'm real. I'm valid.
I still don't believe. I think your father's a
Brain
fucking
freeze
liar,
is the
too.
worst. I'm jealous that you have never experienced that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
d-
I've even
when-
tried to like purposely
Giving yourself
induce it.
Like press
Yeah.
cold ice cream against the roof
Chug
of your
it.
Because
mouth
you
and
have that curly hair that insulates your head and makes
Yes.
it warm up.
Although I am cursed with the cilantro gene, so I guess, double-edged sword.
I
Rachel
also
is too,
think
and she
cilantro
loves
is
Mexican
disgusting.
Food, so it's like her cross to bear.
What'd you say?
Rachel loves Mexican food too.
I
Well,
do-
she loves Mexican
yeah.
food, but she also has the cilantro soap gene,
I'm in the same exact
and
boat.
she wants to like. She just hates.
I don't know if
love
I have the
guacamole, but
cilantro
they always
soap
got it.
gene, but it tastes disgusting to me.
I don't mind.
I don't know if
the-
I just hate the taste of
I
cilantro.
think you just have the soap gene.
I don't mind the taste of cilantro. I just don't. But I'm like, I could live without it. I guess I'm not like cilantro. You know?
I could never live without cilantro.
I hate
What?
the taste of cilantro.
It's
I'd
so
kill
easy.
myself if I got the
I
soap
do it
gene.
every day.
No, if you
Yeah,
wanna
but
talk
like-
if you want to talk about killing yourself, and I have a brain freeze, I'd rather just put a bullet in my.
Oh my god, it hurts so bad. And the worst thing about a brain freeze is that it starts to get better and then it gets worse. And then it gets better.
Did
Yeah.
Do you do the trick where you put your thumb up your? I mean,
One weird trick.
on the roof of your mouth.
No, but I will press my tongue to the roof of my mouth and like suction it
Oh,
there.
your cold tongue to the roof of your mouth. Fuck you.
You can just pee it out most of the time, though. Have you ever taken a piss while having a brain freeze? I'm serious. This is a real thing. This is a real
How are you
thing.
gonna be that close to a bathroom?
Okay, you're always close to a bathroom unless you're in the middle of nowhere.
You're always close to a bathroom when you're a man.
Yeah, everywhere's a bathroom. If you take a piss while you have a brain freeze, it like subsides.
I'll just piss in my own mouth.
You could piss up right in the air and
I don't
catch
think
it.
you died, step bro.
You know,
Okay,
he
never
did.
mind.
It's so fucked up that you
Steve
can
Jobs
become
died of
a
ligma.
sex offender just for peeing in public.
That is crazy.
You know, speaking of, on the side of the road on the highway, there was a guy, literally just like on the shoulder, and he didn't even go into the woods. He like stepped out and stepped out like he was like on his passenger side, just pissing. And then right up behind me was a state trooper, and he pulls up right behind him, and he's like, "Get back in the car."
You heard the conversation?
Well, I heard the state trooper had his like his what's
It's
it
like,
is like a speaker like
Yeah.
PA system.
yeah, his PA system. He's like, "Get back in the car," and the guy's like, "I'm just taking a leak," and the guy's like, "I don't care."
I saw a dude peeing in a tunnel once, which is worse because like the walls like force you to be right where traffic is.